Hey, happy Wednesday. It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSportTV.com. And per usual, I'm here with Mr. Robert Karpelis, WD Creative _ish. We're going to talk a little Dynamite, talk a little bit about Gail Kim, and a little bit of breaking news. Robert, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm curious what the breaking news is. The breaking news that you're at the cafe. Is Jacket Lady there?
She might be.
I'm very excited about the possibility that Jacket Lady might be here. Very excited that you guys are joining us live wherever you are around the world. We'll say hi to some of the folks in the chat. Dre Owens says, hello, RNI. Does WWE get Gail Kim, Mina, and Mariah by SummerSlam? Interesting question. Wrestling Old Head said, it's Wednesday, and RNI think you know what that means. Yes, it means that we are going to be discussing the Dynamite. More importantly, Mark Marin said, hello, I made it. WTF is he doing here? Different one. This one's got 2 R's. Happy to see you here. Happy to see all you fine folks. But yeah, interesting series of stories going on with some of the various women in the wrestling world, Dom. But you said there's some breaking news, so I will defer to you. Have you been receiving text messages from the Trump administration?
I have not. But speaking of women in wrestling, we got Saraya actually officially announced her exit from AEW. And she's starting a new podcast. But she made a comment on X after Entertainment Weekly released the news that she, on her Rule Breakers Cup podcast, that she is leaving AEW. And she said, it's mutual, but I love my time at AEW. Had such a blast with the girls there. It'll hold a special place in my heart. Tony was great. AEW was great. I feel lucky to be a part of this family for a couple of years. Here's the 2025 WTF. Am I going to get in myself now?
So interesting story here with the Saraya situation. So obviously, Saraya had a good relationship with the WWE. She had a good relationship with Triple H. She was always sort of open about that. The friction, the problem came down to the fact that she wanted to still be able to wrestle, and WWE, similar to the position that they took with Daniel Bryan, not terribly far off from the position that they ultimately took with Edge, is that they were not going to let Saraya wrestle. AEW was comfortable and willing to let her step foot in the ring, and that was what led to her decision. Part of what she had said before is the AEW women's division is very crowded, so it's been hard for her to really gain a foothold, and she had some injuries and some somewhat lackluster booking going on there. But right now, she does have her autobiography coming out, and I think that she wants the possibility of promoting that on the biggest platform that there is. My guess is this will lead her back to the WWE in some capacity. And if she's, depending on the terms of her contract, if it truly just expired and she's done, she could be a talking head for Mania.
Absolutely.
There's no reason to think, if she's not going to be actively wrestling anymore, that you can't have her there talking about the implications of 2 huge WWE women's title matches that are taking place at Mania, plus an opportunity for her to promote her book.
Well, do you think that considering all the stuff that's occurred through WWE, through AEW, with Saraya and her health and everything like that, there could be a chance that she could get back in the ring for WWE, or would you completely eliminate that possibility?
I don't know what condition she's in. I'm not going to speculate. But, I don't know if between when the doctors last evaluated her and when they're going to look at her now, if they're going to see things differently, or if she thinks that she can actually compete at the level that the WWE is operating on right now. When Paige was wrestling there was a different caliber of talent at the beginning that eventually did evolve as part of that women's evolution. I don't know that she's necessarily excited to go hop back in the ring, or if she feels, hey, I can serve this company better elsewhere. Someone that she does have a good relationship with is The Rock. The Rock was one of the producers of her movie, Fighting with My Family. He's in that movie. So given the relationships and the opportunities that there are within WWE, I would not be shocked if Saraya, Paige, what have you, winds up back on the good team.
Well, Wrestling Old Head brings up an interesting point here too. He says, perfect time for Paige to return, as WWE might be bringing back their Women's Revolution PLE. It's a good point.
Yeah, that'll be a hell of a show in Saudi Arabia. Wait, no, probably not going to be in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, they have a deep bench when it comes to their women's roster, and they've taken the time to give a lot of these women stories and meaning behind what they're doing. So it stands to reason that a WWE Women's Revolution PLE would do well. One of the things that's kind of interesting looking at the landscape going into WrestleMania is there are a number of women who currently don't have a spot on the big show. And we know that there's probably going to be about 14 matches total. And right now there is nothing for Chelsea Green and her title. There's nothing for Lyra Valkyria and her title. We haven't seen anything going on with Bayley, nothing with the women's tag titles with Liv and Raquel. Time will tell.
Time will tell. Time will also tell for another women's wrestler that's well known, and that's Gail Kim. It was reported yesterday that she was fired from TNA, and Fightful had a little bit of a follow-up on the details behind the scenes. This quoting Fightful Select, over a dozen TNA talent reached out to Fightful regarding the news of Gail Kim's firing, which was met with shock, disbelief, and anger. It was I can't say that word. Help me out here, Robert. Unanimous?
Hold on. It was a unanimously unpopular move based on those we spoke to, with at least one talent saying that it made their decision for them not to remain in the company when their deal is up. There were others that told Fightful they were scared for their jobs. At least one person said they actually weren't surprised because Gail Kim has been very outspoken creatively and would sometimes butt heads with the people in control. Another person indicated that, but said that's what you want out of a person in her position, someone who will advocate for a better show. We're told that Kim was very direct about her complaints when she felt like things could have been handled better or more professionally.
Yes. So, Robert, I mean, times have very much changed for WWE, and when Gail Kim was last there, she was an immense value to the Knockouts division in TNA, and really was a big proponent of making that almost the premier division in wrestling for women's wrestling. So what do you think of Gail Kim's exit? Could you fathom her going to WWE, and what kind of value would she add to them?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Gail Kim has gone. Obviously, she's been a long-standing stalwart in TNA. She's been someone who's been in front of the camera, behind the scenes, helped build that Knockouts division, which has produced a lot of really incredible talent. And given what I know about some of the folks that are in positions of power in TNA, it is surprising that this would happen. These are generally folks I've worked with in the past who are receptive and open and want the best for everybody. And given the relationship between WWE and TNA, I'm curious of some of the bristling that was going on with Gail Kim, was she wasn't happy with the WWE's meddling and interference in what TNA was doing. We don't know anything with anything about what it is. It's unfortunate that she's not there, or that she won't be there. But more on this, I guess, to come. But if it's making people second guess whether or not they're going to stay with TNA, or they feel that their job might not be secure, never a good position to be in. And quite frankly, Dom, it stinks. And speaking of stinks, we're going to talk to you about our friends at Mando. Mando is a unique and different kind of deodorant. It is a whole body deodorant. It is safe to use anywhere on your body, anywhere below your chin that you think may smell, may reek, may have some kind of an odor. Let's throw some Mando at it, and let's take care of that situation, because it has been created by a doctor who saw firsthand how body odor is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. The way people a lot of feel Gail Kim was being mistreated in TNA. And that stinks. You're not going to stink, because this is clinically proven to block odor all day long and controls odor for up to 72 hours. Mando deodorant product options include solid deodorant stick or spray deodorant. You pick your pleasure here. Pick your poison, whatever you think is going to make you smell and feel comfortable. I'm combining words together. It's great because all these products are baking soda free and paraben free. They are proven to control odor better than just a shower with soap alone. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash and deodorant wipes. Like I said, I'm going to be traveling. I'm flying over to Los Angeles tomorrow. I've got my Mando kit already packed in my luggage. It is ready to go. Be ready for you. Plus, you can get some free shipping. Because as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Just use code RUMOR at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
Robert, you're a bourbon leather guy, aren't you?
I am a bourbon leather guy. I'm a bourbon guy in general, but the general whiskey guy. But something that you're going to have to be tonight is the Dynamite guy.
That's correct, Robert. Yes, they have a party lineup already announced. We got MJF responds to the Hurt Syndicate's offer, which I'm pretty excited about. I think that's a good thing for MJF, good thing for Hurt Syndicate too. Do you see them aligning, Robert? See them making forming a bond, if you will.
I think that there's this notion that MJF in his promo saying, like, I need a group, I need a stable, I need an alliance of people if I'm going to be a successful champion. We have seen him form groups before. You know, the Pinnacle with FTR and Wardlow was a pretty strong group, and I don't know that we're necessarily going to see MJF align with the Hurt Syndicate, but it is interesting because the other folks that he was sort of aligned with were FTR, and they're in a sit-down interview with Cope and Tony Schiavone. So is there a possibility we're going to see FTR turn on Cope and align with Max again?
Well, you know, you make a great point, and like that could also be a pivot for the Hurt Syndicate to turn babyface in a way, like these badass baby faces. So you have them go against MJF and FTR. I think that would be a very intriguing thing, and it helps kind of get MJF back further elevated to where he originally was, and helps the Hurt Syndicate out in certain ways too, because people do want to cheer for those guys.
I think they want to cheer for him just because, yeah, they tear through people regardless of who their opponents are, and anything that's going to catch fire in AEW is something that they need to really exploit and take advantage of, because there has not been a lot of excitement going on there. But what an exciting match we've got. Kenny Omega, one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's taking on Blake Christian. Not Christian Cage. Not Blake of the Beverly Brothers.
Or Wesley Blake.
Or Wesley Blake. There you go. It's slightly more timely. But no, Blake Christian. Dom, is this a typo?
No, not a typo. Blake Christian's very athletic. He has made appearances in WWE and in AEW, and I think in TNA as well. But yeah, it's just, hey, somebody we are not familiar with overall. There has been no promotion of him whatsoever, and he's just fodder for Kenny, which is okay, I guess. But it's also
it's not okay. You only have a finite amount of actual broadcast TV time, and Tony Khan needs to start pretending that has a value. And when you put a guy on there who, Blake Christian, we've seen him wrestle before. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler by any stretch of the imagination, but you need to treat Dynamite like this is your A show. This is the show that's, beating the Nitro record. And if you're WWE, you're not putting on a match with, Gunther and Cruz del Toro and pretending it's a big match. Blake Christian is not someone who has been featured regularly on AEW programming. He's not a guy who's going to move the needle. Worst of all, I'm pretty sure Blake Christian is a babyface. So you're putting a babyface match in there with Kenny Omega. Kenny needs to be kept special. We kind of thought that the reason we were getting a triple threat match with Ricochet and with Speedball Mike Bailey was they're trying to preserve and protect Kenny Omega's body. Having him go out there and wrestle Blake Christian, not the way to do that. More likely than not, though, he's going to give Blake Christian a ton of offense. So this feels like a bizarre. Maybe Blake Christian is maybe this is his Make-A-Wish. I don't know, but short of that, I'm baffled, genuinely baffled.
I think it's a great point. Funny story. It was during StarCast 6 weekend. They had the GCW event going on there, and Marcus, my brother, and I were there. Marcus goes backstage to like go to the bathroom or something like that, and he sees Blake Christian standing there with blood all over his face because he was just in a match. And he's like, "Hey man, you good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And so hopefully we don't get any of that going on further with Moxley and all that malarkey. So no blood. I'd be okay with no blood in this match.
So the other matches that are on here, to plow through those pretty quickly, there's the Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa match against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, which is a great way to further the Tony Storm Megan Bayne feud. It feels a little thrown together. It's kind of like what we just saw on SmackDown with that strange tag match where you saw Drew McIntyre teaming up with Shinsuke Nakamura to take on Priest and Jimmy Uso. It's fine booking. It's down the middle booking. It's a way for Megan Bayne to get physicality on Tony Storm and lay her out without actually having a one-on-one match and giving too much away. And then the other matches all involve the Don Callis family. You got Kyle Fletcher taking on Brody King, Mark Davis taking on Powerhouse Hobbs, and Mark Briscoe taking on Konosuke Takeshita. My guess, my thought, my feeling here is this is a way to get the Don Callis family back on the winning side, except for the Mark Davis match. I would suspect Kyle Fletcher is going to get the win over Brody King because, for whatever reason, they view Brody King more disposable than I would. I see a lot of potential and opportunity in Brody to be a valuable main event style player. Instead, he's a big guy who's going to put on great matches. Mark Briscoe, he's going to get the hell beat out of him by Takeshita. He's going to be sympathetic, but you got to get Takeshita on the right foot after he just lost his international title. And Hobbs beating Mark Davis feels like a good way to promote Hobbs going forward.
Yeah, I think it's still, they put themselves in the Sophie's Choice kind of position where it's just like, hey, all these times we talk about Mark Briscoe, how much value there could be in him, and you're putting him in a position to lose to Takeshita, who needs a win as well. And I think Mark Davis had such a strong showing this past week in that multi-man tag match, and here you're just going to put him in another loss against Powerhouse Hobbs, who also needs a win and also needs elevated. I understand the booking of it all, but there's also that head-scratching aspect that comes with it all, with AEW in general.
Well, that's the Blake Christian of it all. The strangest thing is we are like 2 weeks away from Dynasty. Nothing announced with Swerve and Moxley. I'm sure we'll get something. Hopefully they don't replay the spike spot. Don't need to see that ever again. But something that you do need to see if you are a fan of this show is Rumor and Innuendo. We come to you every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms. I will be on the road Thursday and Friday, so Dom will either be fielding this on his own or will have a guest star here, but it'll be well worth your time. If you want to catch a little bit more of me, myself and Scott Chaplin recorded a Working Stiff yesterday, which should be up and available now on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Same place you can get the audio version of this show. But I will be tuning in live from my plane. I'll be airborne, but I'll have the plane Wi-Fi, watching Rumor and Innuendo tomorrow live. You should too, on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Working Stiff, and ad-free shows. Dom, it's always a gift, a joy, and a pleasure to get to host these shows with you. So on behalf of the Batman in a Cafe, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Robert is indeed my co-pilot, but don't call me Shirley.